Hey everyone, back again with some more letters from players here. These are all ones that I got pretty recently. So first we have Don Lee. He was a major league pitcher in the 50s and 60s. He played for the Angels and I think a few other teams. But his dad was Thornton Lee, who was a really good major league pitcher, played for like 15 years in the majors. So one of the questions I asked him was, I was curious if he had been around a lot of major league players when he was a kid, since his dad played for so long. And he mentioned that his father was, which I already knew, but he said he was in the White Sox clubhouse quite a bit during those days. So that would have been like the 30s and 40s when his father played. So he probably got the opportunity to meet a lot of really good players, and he probably would have seen maybe like Lou Gehrig or somebody like that when he was a kid. And then if there was anything he would have done differently in his career, and he said he would have signed with a different organization. I don't think the Angels were very good. And then I asked him what his best memories of his dad was. And he said that his father was always supportive and to play as much as you can and then have fun doing it. Most difficult obstacle he had ever overcome was to put his folks' ashes, his parents, where they wanted them after they passed away. So that's Don Lee. Got Adrian Dantley. So the toughest opponent, Adrian Dantley was a player in the 70s and 80s, and he is in the Hall of Fame. He made the Hall of Fame in 2008, and I asked him who the toughest opponent he ever had to face was. Bob Dandridge. Yeah, who just was inducted into the Hall of Fame. The greatest moment of his career. So, I'm trying to think who he played for college. I can't remember, but they broke UCLA's 88-game winning streak in the 70s. So obviously UCLA was the best college basketball team ever when John Wooden coached for them, and they had won a lot of championships and a lot of games in a row. And then he also mentioned winning the gold for USA Olympics in 1976. The biggest difference between today's game and when he played, I asked him that, and he said the speed. And then another question I asked him was if there was ever a time when he felt like giving up the game. And he said it never crossed his mind. So a pretty good answer there. So we got Jerry Logan. The most difficult obstacle he ever had to overcome. Coming to realize that he could play at this level. Which is pretty, like, I would assume a lot of guys have that feeling, like coming out of college, being drafted, and just wondering if you're good enough to play the game. And yeah, he had a 10-year career, so he played in the NFL for quite a while. Super Bowl was his most memorable moment. Best piece of advice he ever received: hard work and dedication, and being a team player. And the toughest opponent he ever had to face was Paul Warfield, who is in the Hall of Fame as well. Cliff Hagan, he was a basketball player in the 1950s and 60s. And he is in the Hall of Fame. And he played college basketball at Kentucky, and he played under Adolph Rupp, legendary coach for Kentucky. And then I asked him what it was like to play for Coach Rupp, and he just said it was an honor. And if there was any one particular game that stood out to him the most, the 1958 NBA championship, Bob Pettit, who he's talking about there, scored 50 points in Game 6, and he averaged 24 points a game, and he said he averaged 28 points a game. So yeah, Cliff Hagan is a guy you don't hear about, but he was a really good player. Most difficult obstacle was to be a pro coach. You can imagine that's got to be a tough gig. And last we have Bobby Allison. The biggest difference between racing these days and when he first started, back in the day, they had homemade cars, which he says here, and volunteer crews, versus factory-built cars and equipment assembled by high-paid engineers and well-trained crews. So yeah, a huge difference. You know, they probably just had cars they put together and modified and changed everything all themselves. And then volunteer crew, like he said. So obviously a huge difference between back then and today. What race stands out the most to him? Rockingham 1967, it looks like, and several at Charlotte. And number one is Daytona 500, 1988. The best piece of advice he ever received was to keep Jesus first in your life. Most difficult obstacle he had ever overcome, he had a crash at Pocono in 1988, and he was in critical condition after that crash. So that was his most difficult obstacle. I think he had a long recovery after that, and that was the end of his career. So pretty good response there from Bobby Allison. Seemed like a really good dude. That's it. That's all I got for now. Stay tuned. Like I said, we're getting closer to 100 subscribers here, so watch out for that. We're going to have a 100 subscriber contest. When that happens, I'll have some giveaways and questionnaires. Like if you watch my previous video, I had a contest at 50. So I'll do the same kind of setup and probably give away a few more things rather than just 2. I'll probably do 4 or 5 this time. So watch out for that. Please like and subscribe. Let anyone you know that might enjoy this content to check it out. Thanks for watching.